Oh, we're live, baby. We are live. Gentlemen, ladies, and gentlemen, let me turn on the monetization so I can hit you guys with a couple ads. You know what I'm saying? All right. How are we doing out there? How are we doing out there? Are we doing good? I hope we're doing good. I hope we're doing good out there. Woo! It's going to get a little bit wild on Wall Street. How are we doing? I'm here, bud. Predictions for the week. Woo! Well, shout out to Edward Morgan. He's always first. But predictions for the week. These catalysts tend to be very short-lived. So I think you're going to see some pain, definitely, in the markets, in AMC. The beginning of the week. You'll probably see a nice rebound by the end of the week. We have a lot of time between now and March 16th. What's it called? The Fed meeting. Fed rate monitor tool. Yeah, so the expectations are very low for a 0.5% rate hike. 85% believe just 0.25%. And this whole Russian invasion thing, it sets us up for possibly a less hawkish Fed, because the price of oil is going to go up. That's going to lead to more hawkish Fed. The price of oil going up, inflation's probably going to go up, but at the same time, it's going to have some economic effects. I don't think a lot of people realize, but a lot of the precious metals for semiconductor chips, stuff like that, comes from Russia. So you could also see the economy slowing down a little bit because of that. So that'll be interesting how things develop. We also do know that there's going to be a security briefing here at about 9 p.m. And the UN Security Council expected to convene an urgent meeting soon. The UN Security Council is expected to convene an urgent meeting tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the request of the Ukrainians. Two UN diplomats tell CNN. There will be an open session where all member nations, including the Russians and the U.S., are expected to make statements. Quote, "We support Ukrainians' call for an urgent meeting of the UN Security Council. The Security Council must demand that Russia respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine," a UN member said, or a UN member state said, U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Lena Thomas Greenfield. So you're going to see a lot of these meetings happening over the night. And if we don't sanction Russia, like, something is definitely wrong, because this is an invasion by anyone's definition. Just as we're getting out of COVID, typical. Yeah, there's always something. What is this? Australia demands answers from China over alleged laser incident at sea. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Why the U.S. may find itself forced back into the Middle East. Jeez. But, yeah, lots of fear tomorrow. I'm going to probably wait a little bit. I'm probably not going to go, guns a-blazing out as soon as the market opens, putting on hedges and shorts. But I'll probably wait maybe a half an hour. So is it good that markets are going to be red tomorrow? Yeah. We need to see the markets coming down to see the MOAS. There's a big misconception, I believe, even with a lot of, AMC creators, that just because AMC goes up, you'll see margin calls, forced liquidations. You'll see all of these things you've heard many times. And that's not the case. It has very little to do with what AMC does. Just like Volkswagen had little to do with what, Volkswagen actually did, or what Porsche did by acquiring all the shares of Volkswagen. Had very little to do with that. It mostly had to do with what was going on at the time, even during Volkswagen, was the bottom of the markets, and there was no money out there. It had all dried up. So yeah, it's good. Like, I don't expect the MOAS to start just because the markets go down one day, but we're gonna trend to the downside. This is another big fear catalyst. It will drive the markets down, but ultimately the Fed is the main driver here, and they're gonna have to get even more aggressive over the next couple of months, and that's gonna help really push us down. And what's great about it is you're going to see the markets going down, and they're going to stay down for a while until the Fed U-turns, either because growth is slowing down or inflation comes down a lot. So you're going to have a long period where the markets are down and continuing to go down when liquidity is being restricted, and then that's when you could see the MOAS. It's not a one-day period. It's like a 6-month period where we could get a major catalyst in between. And that's where you're going to start to see the small shorts covering, the medium, and then the large shorts covering as far as the liquidity ranges. I tell you, there will be a Putin, you are bad. Stop it. That's it. Okay. You think World War III is starting? I hope not. This is actually what Germany did in 1938, is they started to take believe it's Czechoslovakia, or however you say that. And then they took half of that, then they took the rest of it, and then they started making their way to other countries. And that's how it started, so it's eerily reminiscent of now. But I don't think Russia wants those kind of problems. I mean, ultimately, they couldn't beat us, so I don't know why they would get involved. Get China involved, Russia, North Korea, Iran. There's no good way that ends. You're talking the end of human existence, besides a couple, pockets here and there. It would just not be good. So I don't think that's their goal here. At least I hope not, because nobody wins in that scenario. Win World War III. Hopefully not. But yeah, you could definitely expect the MOAS then. AMC would be like, yeah, we just posted a profit. Stock would rally. MOAS would start. Europe won't fight or sanction Putin hard because Europe need the gas and oil. Sorry, Ukraine, but you are. Yeah, Ukraine is alone, but I think there's a certain precedent that they have to set. Even not letting Nord 2, that pipeline, flow oil and natural gas. I believe it's just natural gas, but that's gonna have significant impacts. I think they have to. I don't really think it's like a choice, right? If you can't attack them militarily, you have to attack them economically. TCI is about to get drafted. Oh shit. Damn it. Fucking Biden. Damn it. People holding shares. Good luck, people holding shares under $10 a share. They barely handled it going to 13. I still think the squeeze comes with the price rising, not going down. No, see, that's the misconception. Think to yourself. Think about the bigger picture here, not just AMC and what the price does. That's the important thing. The bigger picture here is what will cause shorts to cover? What will force them to cover? If the markets are going up, AMC is going up, they're not going to. Think about it like a securities-backed loan. Think like what rich people do. Rich people, they acquire these assets, they acquire stocks, and then they can borrow from their billion-dollar portfolio at 2 or 3%, right? And their investments should outpace that 2 to 3% they have to pay each year, and they make money and borrow money. Think about it now. If you seen your portfolio go in half, you're not going to be able to borrow as much. The liquidity will be restricted in the sense of the banks aren't going to loan out to anybody they want to for very low amounts. So in multiple different ways, you can't see the MOAS when the stock is actually going up. Believe that or not, Volkswagen, great example. That thing was down 50-60% before it started to squeeze. So it really has to do with, you have to restrict that money that hedge funds have. If you can do that, that's where you see the MOAS. You'll never see it in a booming market. Hopefully that kind of, made some sense. But you have to get that money out of their possession. And I'll tell you right now, all of the money is in Apple, Microsoft, and the S&P 500, which is basically Apple and Microsoft. Like I showed in one of the videos over this weekend, if you look at Apple and the S&P 500's charts, they look exactly the same. They are the same chart. Like, if you looked at them off of first glance, you would not tell a difference. Like, that's like damn near the same chart. The same highs, same lows, same point, same everything. But, yeah. What I missed, quick dip in the morning. This is going to be probably more than a quick dip. Just depends if we actually do sanction Russia oil and natural gas and all their exports. If that happens, you're definitely going to see more pain in the markets for sure. But I think by the end of the week, a lot of that will start to reverse, because historically, when things like this happen, even like 9/11, yes, terrible event, but markets, they were down for a couple days and then they started to recover. But that was more so like Americans involved too at the same time. So I think you will see a recovery by the end of the week, because the only thing the markets care about when it comes down to it is the Fed. But what do you think gold will do? Gold is up like 1% right now. 0.5%, but I mean, you don't see much activity here. But I mean, gold does do well during times of war, even compared to like inflation. Like, people tend to run to gold more when there's war breaking out. Believe that or not. Not looking for tomorrow, at least. Not looking too good. Not looking too good. I wanna play Apple, because I think Apple, it'll come to a point where 40% of the stocks in the NASDAQ 100 are down over 50%. That's a massive beating. The markets are not reflecting that. So there's a divergence here that is going on, where most of the stocks in the index are beaten down terribly, terribly bad. Whereas you look at the S&P and it looks fine. It looks, okay, we had a little hiccup, but we're doing all right here. And eventually you're going to see that gap close, and you're going to see the indexes, Apple, Microsoft, come down. Not even because they're bad companies, which obviously they're not. I actually like Microsoft more, but there's a divergence there that is very clear. I'm hoping gold and silver go up. Yeah, I think they will. Not looking good for. Are you investing in BBIG by any chance? So what's your take on it? No, I'm not. I really haven't looked into it too much. I figured it was a short squeeze trade, and besides AMC, I don't want to be a part of anything that's like a short squeeze candidate. If they don't have a business behind them. Like AMC, how low is AMC really going to go? They have a business behind them, and they are free cash flow positive. And they will announce this after this earnings. But guess you're a stacker. Makes sense that gold and silver would go up, but it's been acting weird lately. Yeah, gold and silver are the most manipulated like forms of currency in the world. Commodities, that's the word I was looking for. They're the most manipulated thing ever. You think the stock market's manipulated. Silver, gold, those are the most manipulated things in the world, historically, statistically. Putin will not attack, so stop it already. He already did. He already did. Did you watch the news? Okay, but the price is at $8. Will they cover now? They won't even at 5 a share. No reason to. If they shorted, say to 6, they're back to where they seem. Seems like they will. Yeah, exactly. That's 100% correct. Like, imagine what I just said. Markets are down, liquidity is low, and then AMC comes out and says, yeah, we're going to double revenue. We're going to give a huge something, even one of the catalysts we've seen already, like going into the popcorn industry, crypto, growing the business, a fundamental catalyst. That's what, will send the stock up. And that's where the shorts are in a position where they don't have as much money to cover. And then the smaller guys with less money start to cover, driving up the price of the stock, the mid guys and then the large guys. That's how historically, like, Volkswagen squeezed so high. It wasn't because the price of the stock went up 3x, because that's all Volkswagen really did was go up 3 to 5x. I mean, AMC did that, but they went up 10x twice, right? But the difference between 2021 and 2008 was that Volkswagen squeezed in October 2008. That was the bottom of the market. So nobody had money. It had literally like evaporated, right? So they didn't have money to cover once the price of the stock went up, because Porsche had announced that they were acquiring Volkswagen, and they had like 95% of all the stock. So whatever the number was, like 30 million shares, 50 million shares, whatever the number was, I don't remember. It got to a point where there was 30 million shares, let's just say that, and there was only 5% of the free float left. So it was very hard to even get out of those short positions, but they were forced to because of the underlying economic conditions. And what I've been saying, not even this Russia situation, but as the markets go down, as the Fed realizes, hey, inflation's here to stay, we're literally starting to see the wage price spiral where, people demand more money, so they have to get paid more money, and then the businesses have to raise prices because they can't let their margins go to shit. They can't not make money. So that starts a spiral, and that's already going on. So it's ultimately going to come down to the Fed. But I think this is definitely a catalyst that pushes fear onto the market. If Russia does take all of Ukraine, imagine that. You're going to start hearing World War III. You're going to start seeing a lot of those catalysts. Imagine the fear that's involved then. That's when you really see gold and silver go crazy. Go long on that like button. Oh, yeah. Go long on that like button. AMC is going to drop back to 7 and stay. I don't think the underlying business would support $7 per share. Maybe in a time of a huge crash. If we seen a March of 2020 event, if Russia declared war on the United States, which theoretically, I mean, they would never do because they would lose that war. So they wouldn't do that. There's nothing that is going to cause a March of 2020 fear level to hit the markets probably for a long time. Unless the Feds came out and said, yeah, we're raising rates like 2% overnight. Then you would see this. But you get what I'm saying here? You're going to have to see a major fear catalyst hit the markets to see AMC go to $7, period. It's not going to happen. Think about what just happened, right? The markets were freaking out, the Fed, all that drama, and the markets were down like 5% in a single day. What did AMC do? Virtually nothing. It went from 15 to 13.40. The sell-off has slowed down. And that's very easy to see. Like, it doesn't take a fucking whiz here to see that the sell-off has slowed down. So, that's definitely not true. But could we, if theoretically we did see some crazy event happen and the markets did this? Look at that. If the markets did this, straight down, the fastest sell-off in history, then sure, could AMC go to $7? Sure. Would it stay at 7? No. No, not at all. That's a false statement when it comes down to it. So miners are actually warehousing their stash and not selling it. Yeah, I mean, in this environment, not a bad idea. I hope you are correct, bro. I've been in since part 2020 around 70K. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I see. I try to look at things on the broad trade, because like if AMC had went to $500 back in June 2021, capital was so easy to acquire. Even if you didn't have enough, you could virtually go anywhere. Look at Archegos. They went to all banks and they're leveraged up like 20 to 1. So capital was so easy to find. Even right now, it's a lot harder to get your hands on cheap money. Yes, the interest rates are low, but the 10-year treasury yields have went up about 0.5%. That's already priced in 2 rate hikes. Mortgage rates are higher. Banks are not as willing to lend out capital. Like right now, you're going to pay a lot more in interest going to get an SBL loan, a securities-backed loan, because of volatility in the markets. People don't know. I mean, it's sell now, ask questions later. So when you add that together, one, it makes capital harder to acquire, like I said, when you need it. But when the markets are actually down, I mean, some people are calling for like an 80-90% crash. I'm not in that realm. I think 400 is a reasonable price right now. If the Fed gets super hawkish, could we go back down to pre-pandemic levels, like right here? Could we come down to 339, 350? Sure, 100% possible. 360, 100% possible. Right? If the Fed has to do a Paul Volcker and get the economy into a deep recession to get inflation down, certainly possible. But I mean, and if you look at this chart and you look at other stocks, like look at PayPal right now. It's a joke. It's a joke what's going on with PayPal. I want to margin up and buy as much PayPal as possible, because look at this. Compare this to the S&P 500 right now. This was their pre-pandemic level. And keep in mind, the business has only gotten much better. Like PayPal's business is not bad. They've grown revenue like 35% since the end of the pandemic, much more than the average S&P 500 company. So there's no argument in that sense. But look, this is their pre-pandemic level. They're under that. So could the S&P catch up and do this in a violent fashion if there was a big reason to? 100%. And that's where you see all of a sudden, yes, shorts win on their short positions. But a stock like AMC, how much lower is it going to go? How much bang for your buck are you going to get shorting this right now and not protecting your portfolio? Because I've went over this a couple times, which I get it in a normal market. Don't short Apple or Microsoft. But when you're seeing this divergence, that's exactly what you want to do, because they're going to fall more than something like an AMC, right? Top to bottom. AMC's already seen a lot of that drop. Short interest on Apple, 0.5%. Short interest on Microsoft, last time I checked, was about 0.35%. And the point is that these are not bad companies, Apple or Microsoft. The point is that those are the companies they need to short to protect their portfolios. And they're not doing that. So they're leaving themselves very, very vulnerable. 0.5% right there for Microsoft. So they're not shorting what their portfolios are based around, because these are the largest core holdings in a hedge fund, and they're still partying. Shit hasn't even changed for them. They're partying still. They're making money on their shorts. Their stocks aren't going down too much. Wait till it flips. And I've seen this before, where you'll get a certain sector that is beaten into the ground that will start to recover as the overall markets continue to come down. And that wouldn't surprise me to see this now. Do you even know anything about World War III with nuclear-powered nations? Yeah, I mean, us, Russia, France, UK, North Korea, China, we all have nukes. Exactly, yes. That's what I'm saying. Nobody wants that. Russia has over 6,000 nukes. We have over 5,000. We can nuke every medium and large city in the world. So, I mean, it just not a good situation. Nobody wants that, but yeah, it's a lose-lose for everybody. And Russia knows that. What do you think happens to holders of AMC who hold on right to the end? Will they have to take a forced lower price, do you think? No. I mean, I don't see how they would just give you a price to settle with, because that's kind of like non-capitalism. That's like something you just wouldn't expect to see. The only way you get a set price of a stock that it is set is when you see buyouts, and nobody's gonna buy out AMC when they're a huge company like that. So no, I don't think that's the case. I know people have said that, and I just I just don't like to get too involved with what other people say, but some people just say wild shit. Reverse repos up the yang. That's where a week ago you were sure Russia was not going to invade. It's not always about the money when it comes to these types of things. Well, yes and no. I mean, I was sure Russia was not going to invade Ukraine because that's the thing. If Russia wants to do what they've basically said and be a world leader, they can't do this. Russia will never be a world leader. Russia is a very weak country, believe that or not. We can pull up GDPs, we can pull up industrial facts here, but Russia cannot compete on the global scale. The more they do this, the more they are sanctioned, the more they are outcasted, the weaker they become. So sure, I mean, militarily, it just none of this makes sense economically or militarily. Sure, you want the land. Ukraine's a poor country anyway, so yes, you're not going to gain anything financially, but you better have some strong allies. That's what I'm going to say. But yeah. I mean, I'm still not convinced they're going to try to take the whole country. They might drag this out for a very long time and give more false flags and reasons to invade, but yeah, banks. Where do you see Ford in 5 to 10 years? Ford and GM are interesting because they have 97% of their customers are gas vehicle customers. So I have a hard time wrapping my brain around how fast they're going to grow, because if they have all these gas customers and they're basically switching them to EVs, how much faster of a rate are they going to grow? Like, let's say you had 100 vehicles, right, that are gas vehicles. Those same 100 people buy EV vehicles. You're going to need, say, 110 EV vehicles from your same customer pool to get a 10% growth rate. So it's like you're kind of offsetting your customer base instead of like a new company taking market share, acquiring brand new customers. It's like switching them out instead of getting new customers. But I mean, I think they'll be good. I don't think they'll be like bad, companies, but Ford not too long ago was, I think they still are in junk bond territory, like a 9% yielding bond. So AMC has cheaper debt than Ford. Maybe it's changed since 2020, early 2021, but last I knew they had 9% bonds, which shows the level of risk. The higher the yield, the higher the risk. Yeah, PayPal is amazing. PayPal is an amazing business. I mean, they've grown revenue faster than the S&P 500, and they're getting treated like they're nothing. Makes me want to margin everything and just simply buy PayPal. Cash deposits are a liability to the banker tarts. It's like to buy the inflated stocks, like Apple, and then short AMC. Yeah. But eventually, that panic, that's gonna hit stocks like Apple and Microsoft. Think about it. If you're shorting legit businesses, there's a difference here between shorting a terrible business, something that will never see a profit, a zombie company that without being in an index would be delisted, would have no money. They fund their operations through selling stock. There's a difference between shorting those kind of companies rather than shorting something like AMC that is 30% more efficient now than it used to be, has all these new initiatives that are going to boast well for their numbers. So it's like at that point, everything is crashed. Like, would you rather own PayPal or Apple right now? Tell me that. If any of you said Apple, you're high or something, because you're going to get a much better return owning PayPal at these prices. So even on that standard, if you look at your potential gain in a great company, your opponents, for lack of a better word, adversaries in the stock world, then you would probably sell off your Apples and buy the PayPal. But the thing is, Apple correlates the broad markets at the same time. Like, Apple is the benchmark that you need. Then again, at a certain price, who needs the benchmark if PayPal is going to make you 50% a year because people are overblowing this whole thing and selling PayPal off into the dirt? So eventually you will see that selling hit the majors like Apple, Microsoft, which it has not hit yet. And it wouldn't surprise me to see that starting tomorrow morning. But it's going to be interesting. Briefcase says play school. Oh, there's a nuke button everywhere he goes. I mean, you got to react fast. Russia said today that the main reason they're acknowledging those separatist regions in Ukraine is because they have Tomahawk and nuclear capable missiles that can hit Russia in like 5 or 7 minutes, he said. So, okay. I want the live updates. Just what we need, more FUD. Should I sell at stop loss and buy back in when lower average is 1669, 1450 shares? I'm not a fan of doing that right now, and I had somebody else ask me that on another video. Simply due to the only real reason to do that, because you'd be locking in a loss, would be to average, like, get your hopefully buy more stock for cheaper, but the biggest thing would be taking the tax write-off, and you have to wait 30 days. So if you sell out and AMC is now at $25 30 days later, then you're not gonna be too happy with that decision. But then again, if you sell out, take a loss, and then buy back in right away, you won't be able to claim it on taxes as a loss. And you can claim $3,000 per year on your taxes on capital losses. That's the only reason I would do it, but I think we're just so low right now that it doesn't make all too much sense. And especially if you're at 1669, you're right away from you'd still be taking a profit on that too. Tough call though. Each situation might be a little bit different, granted. Russia's banking on China going to invade Taiwan so they can kick off a world war. That's the bigger thing here. I mean, because Taiwan is much more important to us than Ukraine. Like, I believe, don't we have military pacts with Taiwan? Like, you invade them, you invade us, like mutual pacts with them? I believe so. Maybe not, though. I could be wrong. Where do you see Ford in 6 years? I don't know. Ford. Good old Ford. forget what's the ticker for it. Down 8.69%. Yeah, it says 8.69% down. That's what it looks like. 1440. That conversion though is like what? 15 something. So yeah, it looks like it was down like 8.69%. Ukraine President Zelensky says he will not give anything to anyone. Okay. About leaving Kyiv should it be necessary. U.S. officials have had private conversations with the Ukrainian president about going to Lviv, a city more than 300 miles from the capital of Kyiv, should such a step become necessary. Australia says it will be in lockstep with allies on any Russia sanctions. Military convoy moving through streets of Donetsk. Russian media. Jesus Christ. Yeah, look at that. I think that means means a Russian invasion is here. Young Biden. What the hell? Tried to zoom in, didn't work. But yeah, I think that is constitutes a invasion and some sanctions. We need a backbone right now. If we don't have a backbone, if we don't sanction them, China's taking Taiwan too. Is this not the perfect catalyst for AMC to squeeze? I don't mean to be insensitive and want to clear that I hate the fact that there is war in the world. Dude, take a look at the biggest jobs. 2008 financial crisis. It's not a catalyst directly for AMC, but what we need to see is the markets coming down, and that is a good catalyst for that. Ultimately, the only thing the markets care about is when I say hedge funds are digging their own graves, I'm sure all of you guys want 100,000%. No, but really we can only talk about like catalysts that should cause the most when the markets are down in the dirt, and they're not at that moment right now. It's definitely I thought that was a ticker. MOEX. I see down in Germany. Yeah, what do you think about shorting Dow, S&P, and Nasdaq ETFs? I think if you want to short, at least for me personally, it makes more sense to go after Apple because it is the index. Like if you want to short the S&P 500, you're going to get a lot better deals and premium going after Apple, and Apple's going to move down. Like say Apple moves down 10%, the S&P is going to go down 10%. They are 1 and 1. They are directly the same. They move the same. So if you like compare, is it not going to load? So if you compare, see, like even look at the implied volatility on Apple. It's very low, 28%. So that's telling you the premium is going to be a lot cheaper, right? So actually got to go on the put side here. Yeah, implied volatility, a little bit more on the put side, but still very low, 36%, 38%. So you can buy, like what I've been, what I did and what I want to keep doing is like buy the 150 puts, sell the 145s. It's going to cost you like $40-50. Your max gain is $500 because I don't think this is going to be a full-on crisis, mass liquidation, March of 2020 crash into the dirt. But I think Apple, S&P will catch up to the broad markets and the moves down they have already seen. That's why everybody talks about the markets have crashed, because stocks have crashed besides the big guys. So I think there's better ways to short them right now, and like keep this number in mind, right? $150 put on Apple by April 14th is $272. That's what, like 8% out the money? I believe it was 8% out the money. Now, if you look at the S&P, if you want to go 8% out the money, which for the same expiration, you're going to be looking at like $400. And they're going to move the same percentage. Yeah, I believe $400, was it 380? I did it in another video. I don't remember. It was like $400-500 in this range for like 8% out the money. I hate that Webull doesn't show you how far it is out the money, but significantly more expensive. Oh, is Bitcoin just heading down too? Oh yeah, look at that. Jeez. Tanking. That's beautiful. Yeah, really 30,000 would be the level I would be watching for. But depending on what happens tomorrow, what's the futures at? Down 2% on the NASDAQ. There's no sanctions. What's happening? Are we all talk, no bite? What's going on? What the hell? EU foreign policy chief, Russia's illegal actions will not go unpunished. Well, they are right now, okay? Give us something. Like, what? There should be sanctions on Russia right now. Right now. I'm confused. Party and dance, fireworks, no bombs. Seems like it. Social the new growth stock. I might actually invest in that when the valuations get leveled out, when we figure out exactly how much of True Social DWAC will get, and you can value the company then. But be careful of the post-SPAC sell-off, because that will probably happen. Millionaires are made in times of crisis. Yeah. The most millionaires in history was created after during the Great Depression. We know that means very red day tomorrow. Why? Because they take their land back they stole from them? Who stole land from them? Ukraine is its own country, brother. The Soviet Union no longer is in existence. So they're stealing land, or at least trying to. Only Canada has stepped up so far. Yeah, I believe, what was it? I was seeing was it the UK? U.S. Representative Putin's goal and intent is to take over all of Ukraine, and we have no sanctions. What? Like, you can't even show your face. I don't want to see Psaki. I don't want to see Biden. I don't want to see none of them if there is not sanctions on Russia. Like, you should be overthrown. You should not be in leadership stance if you're going to say this and then not do it. Blinken, we will take appropriate steps in response to Putin's recognition of separatist groups. Are they sleeping right now? Are they sleeping or something? So, can somebody ask me that? SPY puts are gonna print nicely in the morning. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. diaper diaper prices will remain unchanged for the remainder of Biden's term. That's funny. After Cold War, they stole the land from Russia. They were Russia. What do you mean? No history before talk. Ukraine is a badass country. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. Young Biden ain't about that smoke. But no, Ukraine was their own. I mean, nobody has controlled Ukraine besides Ukraine, and before that was Soviet Russia. You know what I'm saying, bro? I know history. We can talk about it if you want to, because that's right up my alley. But yeah, no, Russia is stealing Ukraine. There's no other way to put that. And they should be sanctioned for it 3 hours ago. I'm still waiting. I'm still checking the clock, make sure this shit works, right? I know Biden, he might be sleeping. It's almost 9. Something needs to happen tonight. Oh yeah. Yeah, Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries. 100%. Yeah. You would think you would do something. What you say about my ma? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you watch too much CNN. No, I don't really watch news. I just like how they keep. I don't watch news unless it affects my investments. If this had nothing to do with my investments, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even care about it. You know what I'm saying? But this is directly affects my investments, and literal headlines affect my investments and your investments and everybody else's. Look at crypto. You have XRP in your name. Look at the crypto markets. Come on. Come on, brother. Can we be real with each other? But yeah, everybody owns Ukraine. We are not the world police. That's true, and I don't think we should be. But that's where you get World War II, again, is if nobody does anything. I agree with that guy that said you watch too much CNN. No, we're literally watching CNN, but it doesn't make too much sense, to be honest with you. And just got a chance to join you. I really appreciate your videos and live stream. I'm hoping this play is still on. Thinking buy more AMC when it dips Tuesday. Oh, I 100% think it's still on. I mean, I think it's better now than it has ever been. If you've watched any of the videos I've had for over the last year, I've always said the same thing, that you need to see the markets coming down to see the MOAS. I've been very, clear about that. And I think it's like everybody says buy low, sell high. People buy high, sell low. So right now, better than ever. You have much more protection buying AMC now than you did at 40 or 50 like I did. I only get my news from Joe Rogan. Same here. That's funny. 122 people in here and we still get shills. Yeah, we love them. And we act like sheeps and always say yes and amen. That's the way. Walk with mask, take the vaccine, and still in lockdown. Pretty much. Yeah, that sounds about right. And we say you cross Ukraine borders, you're gonna get hit with sanctions. And I mean, I haven't seen anything yet. I'm like waiting. Should have been 3 hours ago. This motherfucking watch is broken or something, or they're on the wrong time as I am. Cause, I mean, what's going on? Dang, what's up with the politics? I ain't vaxxed. Chill, bro. I'm not vaxxed either. I had COVID already, but it's okay for Ukraine to become part of NATO. What? What? You think it's okay for Ukraine to become part of NATO, which is clearly idea. I mean, what's the difference between Ukraine or all the other former Soviet countries that are in NATO? What's the difference with Ukraine compared to all the other ones? Because there's many of former Soviet Union countries that are in NATO. So I don't understand that, to be honest. Russia's main goal is to have control of ports in the Black Sea. Yeah, I could agree with that. You'd think Russia would want to have a better country. They would want to be more of an influence in the world, but by doing this, they're less of an influence in the world. Their economy, they're going to lose 4% of their GDP from these sanctions. I don't know if young Biden's ever going to sanction them, but they're going to lose a lot of their economy. They've already lost so much of their economy, and over the years, it's kind of crazy. I mean, look at the Russian economy, dude. It's not what it could be. Like sanctions back here lost 7.8% GDP. Like they don't grow. Their economy does not grow. No other Soviet country that shares border with Russia is in NATO. Well, they were never going to join NATO. They've been in a civil war for like 8 years, and that was not going to end. And that's a something they had to do was end that civil war to become a part of NATO. So that wouldn't have happened, anyways. They took Crimea in 14 under Obama watch. Oh yeah, definitely. Biden trying to sanction the biggest joke I've ever heard. That is funny. Like, look at the Russian ruble. Like the I think the currency is beautiful, but it's dog shit. Nobody wants it. You couldn't pay anybody with rubles. Like terrible. Um, like their currency is worth nothing. Is worth nothing. Even in 2008, $1 would get you 23 rubles, 24. Now it gets you 80. Talk about a shit currency. Like it still doesn't make sense to me. Exactly like what. I mean, they want to reunite their people, which I can't argue with that. But look at that. Don't that look good? Don't that look really good? I like how that looks. Mhm. But nobody wants it. It ain't worth a shit. You could burn it, it'd be worth more. Hitting that financially is a step. I guess in the long term it would be really effective. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it has been. They can't compete with America. They can't compete with the world. They're not a competitor on the world stage. Yo, you're live way earlier. Yeah, just with all this stuff happening, I decided to get on earlier, and then get my daughter later on tonight too. So it worked out better. But Mr. Simon in the building. I can't even, I ain't even gonna try to fucking scream. Puts tomorrow. Could be the trade. The only thing that I would worry about is the way the markets are back and forth. If Russia doesn't fully keep invading Ukraine, then the markets might bounce on Wednesday, and then your puts would get collapsed. So, like, if I do trade puts, I'll probably want to make some free, and then hold those ones, so I'm not risking my own money. Like buy 10 puts. If they go up 30%, sell out 7 or 8 of them and keep 2 or 3 for free. That's how I would trade it, just because, I mean, the markets right now, they'll probably bounce on Wednesday. What's happening? A whole lot of nothing. Basically, yeah. I mean, you're not really seeing anything crazy happening. But we'll see. China and Taiwan, that's going to be the big thing. I think the Russia-Ukraine is a kind of a sideshow, to be honest. Let's talk about Citadel. What do you guys think about that? Increased their position by 382%. U.S. Embassy staff in Ukraine evacuated to Poland. That's on Fox News right now. Oh, okay. It's 4 a.m. in Ukraine right now. Okay. Time to hit USA Financial. Criminals, the Dems. The Dems. Evening, Tim. If they are not competitive on the world stage, then why are their actions tanking our markets? Fears about a war, and oil and natural gas, but really fears of a war. And if you haven't noticed, the markets will sell off on anything right now. It's a very panic-stricken market because of the Fed and tightening and that whole scenario. So if we had low rates and we had no chance of seeing tightening by the Fed, we wouldn't be crashing 2% off of this. No way. It's just the fear in the markets already. But yeah, they're not competitive on the world stage. Nobody thinks about, oh, Russia. Yeah, that's such a big player on the world. Nobody thinks about that. Like, what kind of economy does Russia have? Virtually none. Look at countries by GDP. Like, they're a shell of what they could be. A shell. They're a nothing. And I don't mean to be that way for anybody that sympathizes with Russia, but they're the 11th largest. Canada has a higher GDP, a larger country than Russia. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's all you need to see. Number one, United States by far. China, two, Japan, third, Germany, fourth, fifth, India, sixth, the UK, seventh, France, eighth, Brazil. Brazil has a larger economy by about 25% larger than Russia. Come on, they don't compete on the world stage. They don't. Uh, I thought said last week they would retrieve. Yeah, they don't even care. That's part of Russia's playbook, going back for so long now, is to just try to confuse people, do all that. So Russia has invaded. Yeah, they've sent their troops into the two eastern I don't know, countries, republics, part of Ukraine though, and that's what's supposed to be the red line. Troops cross into Ukraine, and that's sanctions. Sanctions are hitting, but that Citadel 13F was from February 14th. We don't know exactly the day they purchased them, but that's when they filed this. And they decreased their put position by 26%, increased their share position by 382%, and decreased their call position by about 1.63%. So minimal. Hedge funds going to get margin call if they're shorting everything and everything is going down. Well, they're shorting things that are already down. They're shorting things that are down, like 60, 70, 80%. They're not shorting what their portfolio is made of, like Apple's and Microsoft's. So that's really how it works. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Do you think we'll have a gap? Definitely not a gap up tomorrow. Definitely not that, but maybe by the end of the week, if things don't continue to develop, there will be a big drop in the market tomorrow. I can see the SPY maybe going to 400. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think that would trigger a circuit breaker if we fell that much, or it would be very close. Canada is part of collaboration with UK, Vatican, Washington D.C., Australia. Situation in Ukraine is about removing members, refugees in that region. There won't be a war. Those people will be caught and tried in military tribunals along with Hunter and Brandon. That's why Russia acts so reckless. Spent a lot of her Brazilian treatment at this spa. Oh, you guys are funny. USA has a 20 trillion a year GDP and has a 30 trillion national debt. It's a shame they cannot pay their bills. Yeah, it is. We can just print money. Do you know why? We're not concerned about um paying our bills or really inflation in a serious way. The petrodollar, baby, oil is derived in dollars. It's traded in dollars. So as long as we are the oil dollar, the world will suck up our extra money because they need it for oil. That's why. But yeah, it's interesting. Do you know how much gas and oil they have? Yes, they are the second largest producer of oil, right behind us. We produce about a million a day more barrels than Russia. So we still have them beat on Russia, or on oil and natural gas too. Yeah, we go electric, buy dollar. Yeah, that's where you want to own some XRP. What's a circuit breaker? When the markets drop 7%, the whole stock market will stop trading for 15 minutes. And we've seen two of them in March of 2020, back to back. Markets drop 7%, circuit breaker. And then they dropped 11%, and you get the next circuit breaker. And then if the markets drop 20% in a day, they stop the whole trading day. Which I thought in March we might get to that, but we didn't quite get to the 20%. We got to 13% and the market stopped trading, or 11%. You say it's not even a country, jeez. I'm pro-American, so I'm not gonna acknowledge that because that's not true. What is the weather? Is EVA, and we're still in our cries. Yeah, imagine when the world's all EV. Then it really won't matter. Then what's Russia gonna do? Like, come on, man. They just don't have a clue, honestly. Pee into slick boy. Jerome, man, come on. You see what Russia's doing to us? Just chill. Stop fucking. He's gonna take the economy into a damn recession, a pretty deep one. Any predictions for this week? Dow is down 1.41%, S&P down 1.62%, and the Nasdaq down 2.15%. The best thing I think hopefully might happen is hopefully the markets rebound early. As soon as we start trading, they rebound, and that's when you could probably get some more attractive puts. Law-abiding citizen? Is that from the movie Law-abiding Citizen? That's like one of my favorite movies ever. So Russia invaded officially or what? Yes. They sent their troops. Putin orders forces into rebel eastern Ukrainian regions after recognizing their independence. So yes, they have. Peanut butter clip. Oh yeah, fire. Long on Cliff Bar. You know those Under Armour drinks? Kobe had made a $6 million investment in them, and then his family just cashed out, I believe, $400 million on that investment. Crazy. Yeah, Russia has sent peacekeepers to LPDR and DPDR. Yep. And that would classify as an invasion. You say it was a great country when they had a great leader, Trump. I agree there. Trump, we would have already had sanctions on Putin. we would have already froze all their bank accounts. It's all fun and games till someone loses an eye. Yeah. Exactly. Trump and Putin were best buds. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. The body armors, yep. Which those things are delicious. Whoever keeps us out of war and, keeps inflation down, keeps the markets chill, I'm fine with him. And unfortunately Biden is not the guy for that. I don't even think that's political, but I think it's more like look around and see what's going on. And Republicans, they are going to win by a long shot this next election. Biden, not so great. I don't really think any politician's that good. It's whatever's popular, whatever people want to hear. You say things, and then like whatever happened to student loans. I knew so many people that voted for Biden just because they thought they were going to get their student loans taken care of. That's the sole reason. And that never happened. like if there was one thing I would ask is, why would you say you're going to forgive student loans like you can do it and then reverse not even a year in? Yeah, U.S. embassy staff in Ukraine evacuated to Poland. Jeez. Yeah, they will win the next election. Mark Cuban for president. Okay. That would be interesting. He's selling a stock at a loss. Can't you sell it on one platform and transfer the money into a different one? Uh, I'm sure you could. Yeah. You'd still have to wait 30 days to buy the stock back to get that tax write-off, I believe. Might be wrong there, but the U.S. has ordered diplomatic personnel to leave Ukraine for the night. Our personnel will regularly return to continue their diplomatic work in Ukraine and provide emergency consular services. They will continue to support the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian government. Where are the sanctions? Where are the sanctions? That's all I want to know. What the fuck? Dude, for real? There's no sanctions right now? What are we? What the fuck? Supposed to start paying our student loans back already? Yeah, that's in May? I believe in May. Which should be good for SoFi. If you guys need to refinance your student loans, make sure to hit up SoFi. They'll take care of you. Not sponsored, not a recommendation. Hey Tyler, so with crypto going down and markets about to bleed red, won't this force hedges to possibly cover liquidity getting tied up? Yeah, but you need to see something to drive the price of the stock up. That's like imagine you have a winning option. You have a winning option that has, let's say, a week or two left to expiration. But that thing is going up because, let's say you had a put. The markets are going down. That thing is going up. Once things start to reverse and you start to lose a lot because the theta decay is really hard, then you tend to reverse your position. And think about that in the way shorting. You know, hedge funds, they don't want to cover when the stocks are going down. Who wants to do that? When the stock goes up, that's when people actually want to cover. Anyway, let's get back to the charts. I think they were all bad, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I don't think nobody can do anything about student loans. That really wasn't the point, because student loans are the government's largest asset. Like $1.5 trillion, $1.6 trillion. So the government couldn't afford to relinquish all the student loan debt, and that's just federal student loan debt. So they couldn't do that anyways. But the point is, you're gonna say things to people that are uneducated about how it works. You're gonna say it like that. I knew the whole time it's not possible to wipe the slate on student loans. Why do you think when you get like a bankruptcy filing, right? You can't relinquish your student loans. You can't bankrupt student loans. I got my minion now. Why shouldn't soon? I mean, I think they should, but it's impossible to. It's controlled by the government. It's their largest asset. There's too much involved. Thoughts on short the VIX video on naked shorting? Have not actually seen that, so I'm gonna I'll probably check it out and then see exactly what they're saying. But this May promises for God. Yeah, that's true. Cool. Yeah, she likes smoothies. I actually timed that perfectly, so I get off here at 9:30. I want to see these sanctions come through, and I want to see what happens to the markets. But it doesn't look like... What's up? What's up? What time is it? It's time to get shit popping, brother. You can't see her? Yeah, it is a little blurry, huh? Oh. All right. Make America great again by storming the Capitol. Yeah, I don't think that was a good talking point. Say that. Let the baby talk. Yeah, I'm trying to teach her a couple things. Futures update. Yeah, down about 2%. The Nasdaq, S&P down 1.51%, and the Dow down 1.3%. There won't be a war. People were good. Yeah, I don't think there will be a war. Joe Biden and Putin are brother. Oh, yeah. It's happening with AMC tomorrow. Likely we see a gap down in the morning. And then you might see that rally. Once we start trading, you usually see that. At certain points. Let's pull up the 15-minute. You see that gap down sometimes, and then you'll rally back up. You know, you see a gap down at the end of the day, you come back up a little bit, and then you make that landslide. That's probably what'll happen. So I would imagine, but a baby investor. Funny how all people just hold the current president accountable. Trump had so many broken promises, just like every dumb president. Yeah, they all suck. Yeah, they all suck. They do what Keith said will be in concentration camps. Remember, they've been preparing for a moment like this since the Bush. Phew. People yelling in the Capitol and send Antifa and Trump clothes. 390 on SPY. Oh, that would be so bloody. Possible. If we get sanctions, that's when I would expect that further move down. But Biden's, I mean, he's probably sleeping. Probably not awake right now. With DOJ investigations, maybe we fly. Yeah, very, very possible. Credit system. You'll get yes. Don't short TCI, short squeeze, smash the like. Yeah, don't short the like button. Right wing, left wing, same frickin' bird. Good point. Good point. Puts on SPY at what strike? I'm reluctant to really say too much because when I say stuff like that, people put way too much money on it, And then they're like, why did I lose money? Well, you were probably up at one point, but you didn't take profits. This is not a scenario that's going to cause a mass liquidation. It's not. Why is that? Because it's not financial. It's not something that is going to shut down the economy. It's not something that is going to materially change businesses, by and large. Obviously, some like the semiconductors might be affected because a lot of the materials that are used for semiconductors come from Russia, Ukraine, those kind of areas. But you need to see a lot of fear to see a move like that, to see a move straight down. So in other words, if, I think the SPY will go to 420 or something, then we might go to 420 tomorrow, and then we might bounce back up to 430 the next day. So, if you do trade the downside here, you want to just be very careful taking profits, make things free. If you buy 5 or 10 contracts and you get 50 or 100% on that, don't get greedy with it. Get your money back. Keep some contracts for free. So you still have exposure. If it goes down, you can still make a lot, but you're not risking any of your own money. Basically, this isn't the pandemic. Yeah, this isn't the pandemic. Yeah, but we do have that typical M or W shaped sell-off going on, which is what we typically see during these times of sell-offs, right? This M shape right here, little WM, whatever you want to call it, right there, and this was sparked by the Fed. So you really start to see sell-offs like that are from the Fed or from the pandemic, something that, happens that causes a lot of fear. If, like I said, Russia declared war on us and now everybody knows it's World War III, that's when you see a mass sell-off. But we're not quite at that stage. If the aggressions and talks and all that continue to escalate, then we certainly could get there, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. NASDAQ down about 2.13, S&P down 1.5, and Dow still down 1.33. Go ahead and look. Gold up about 0.5%. Oil up 3.22%. Brent crude, which doesn't make any sense, up 1.81%. It looked like it was up more than oil in general earlier. Natural gas up 7.5%. So these are big moves to be seeing on oil, natural gas, all of that.
Mom,
but I'm your dad.
Go.
Go. She calls me mom. I say I'm your dad. Me. Here you go. Here you go. Run. It's invaded to protect the people. I mean, I don't really think anybody was like in trouble there. But yeah, it's getting a little wild out there. Bonds, see yields going down. So people are flooding into bonds a little bit. Yeah, definitely seeing a bit of a fear move. But yeah, for as far as what I would do on the SPY, just keep in mind what I said though about make sure you take profits. Make sure you're not getting too greedy with it. If you get 50 or 100%, take profits, hold contracts for free. But if you want time, April 14th, I like to go with cheaper things because they can go up a little bit more. Maybe the 380s for 426 or even the 350s for 210. You could buy 10 of those, $2,000, or 5 of them for $1,000. Sell out, keep some for free. That's probably how I would play that if you want to go a little bit further out. March 18th, that's going to give you more risk to reward, I feel like. Closer to the money, so you're going to get clapped even more. So you got to be even more careful to get your money back and to be safe. But yeah, you can get these for super cheap. A 375 was going for 146. And that's probably going to go up a lot tomorrow. So maybe the 375s. Just be quick to get your initial investment back. They're probably not going to go into the money. Keep that in mind. Or even maybe a 390 might be good for 257. That could also be juicy. You see a lot of activity on that one too. A 36,000 for open interest at the 390. Not looking too bad, but also, you know, at the 2, it's 3-day weekend, major global incident that will cause large market move. Come on, this has to be it. MOAS incoming. We need to see something that makes AMC go up. And if the markets totally crumble and just collapse, and then you see a catalyst, then that'll be good. But I think there might be a little bit more time ahead of us. But what other puts are you looking into buying tomorrow at market open? Well, I do have exposure right now, but I want to get some more. But I'm just going to be really careful with it. But I really like the Apple, maybe the March 18th or the April puts. You know, because if you're betting on the SPY, Apple's going to fall just as much as the SPY, and the implied volatility is really low, and the premiums look not as expensive, because nobody expects Apple to fall that much, but eventually it will. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, yeah, those are war stocks too, but they're like the oil trade, right? It's kind of something that you know, everybody knows about in a way, so it's probably gonna have a lot more premium with it, but also could be good. But I really like the Apple debit spreads, even to go out to, let's say, April. If you let's see, yeah, if you go out to April, you bought a 145, sold a 140, that's going to cost you $51, and you'll make 500 max profit. It's a cheaper way to trade this. So essentially, if you did this trade right, it costs you $50. If you bought 3 of them, your max gain would be 1,500. That would be comparable to 150 spent on just the 140. So to make $1,500 profit, if you just bought the 140 and spread instead of doing a debit spread between the 145s and 140, you would have to see Apple go to 125 to make the same amount of money as just buying the 140 outright. Does that make sense? So you could buy the 145, sell the 140 for $51, and your max profit would be $1,500 if Apple closed under 140. Now look at that. That's the same price as the 140 to buy it outright is 150. But to make $1,500 on a 140, you would need to see Apple at 125. I think it's much more likely Apple goes under 140 than under 125. So that's kind of the way that I like to look at it right now. But I'll probably buy Meta at 175. I mean, yeah, that's definitely not a bad move. I would think it's not going to be a instant win. You know, it's not going to go crazy just out of nowhere, but could be good. Yeah, Raytheon just broke, sitting right at its pre-pandemic levels. So that actually could be a good breakout trade. I'm actually going to keep that on my chart to see to watch that one. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. If you guys want to come trade with us, join the trading community linked in the description of this or in the last video or any other video for that matter. Get some free stock with Weeble, Momo, and Public, like she said. And don't short the like button or the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.